Hey guys, Jonathan here, and in today's video, I thought I would do a comparison between the original 2013 Iron Patriot and the new one from 2025. So for those that don't know, the 2013 version was a gift with purchase that you would get with the original LEGO Marvel Superheroes video game, and the 2025 version is now being released in the Iron Man Hall of Armor set, which is $55. So because of the exclusivity of the original 2013 one, it has been worth a fortune for years, and honestly, probably still will be, because as Iron Man fan collectors go, everybody wants to have every version of every armor, and even though this one is in a commercially released set now, that doesn't make the old one any less rare or desirable, especially for folks like me that far prefer the old helmet style. So, that being said, let's go ahead and compare both. Now, both use dark blue body parts from head to toe. The original one really leans into the dark red color scheme more, whereas the new one, pretty much every red tone on it is actually a very light and vibrant red. So I think that some people are going to dig that because it makes the figure pop. For me personally, I just love this figure so much. It's one of my favorite LEGO Marvel figures of all time, actually. So it's very hard for me to, move past how much I love it. But as you can see, both helmets lift up. Looks great. The new Rhodey head is probably a little bit better and more accurate. The old one kind of has like a 1,000-yard stare going on. Then when we lift those helmets up, you can see that the old one actually had a alternate expression on the back, whereas the new one does not. Now, while we're flipped around to the back, I think it's a good time to talk about the cannons, the guns on the back. The original one is really just for display. Both actually only use 3 pieces, which is kind of interesting. Well, I guess 4 if you count the actual stud shooter piece. I just count the gun as 1 piece. But as you can see, both are built onto a neck bracket. Then we have 1, 2, and 3 pieces on there. So I do far prefer the old one just because I don't really care about the play functionality of being able to actually shoot the stud. I mean, for little kids, I definitely get it. It's more fun, but I don't necessarily need that on my figure. The good thing is, though, it's easy enough to just get these common parts and switch it out on the new one. Now, let's talk about the leg printing. On the original legs, we've got the star up on the corner there that is not present on the new one, so that's a big difference. And the new one uses a lot more of those light blue color tones for accenting, whereas the original one is a lot more flat colored and uses those black lines to show the detail of the armor rather than building it out with a lot of different colors. As we move up to the torso, I actually really like on the original that we can read those danger signs as well as the 002 up in the top right corner, whereas those danger signs have been removed on the 2025 version, and we basically just kind of have like a little line there, and it's not really legible or anything like that. I do think that the new one adds a lot more detail in the torso area, but there's just something about that old one that feels a little bit more classic, and I dig it that much more. Now, as we move up to the helmets, obviously the biggest difference between the two are the style overall. The new one uses the modern Iron Man helmet style, which is very sleek, and I think it's rendered pretty well. I don't necessarily love it on every single figure, but as of the last year or two, LEGO has really figured out how to print on this, and it looks great in my opinion. Whereas the original one is a lot more molded and shaped, and that's something that I always liked. To me, it was one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it type moments, because I really just thought that the old helmets were great, and that's that. Now, we'll go ahead and flip around, and we'll actually remove the heads on both so that we could take a look at the torso printing on the back of both figures. So here we go with that. As you can see, we've got a ton of differences when it comes to the back of both figures. The new one is a lot more detailed, no way about it. And I actually like the print on the new one way, way more than the old one. I do think the old one is cool and definitely fits stylistically with the front as well as the legs, but the new one just has so much more shaping and detail to it, and I love that a lot. Of course, all of that gets covered up by the time we put the heads back on, and with that being said, we'll go ahead and round out this video. I do think both figures are great. I don't think you necessarily have to have both. Whichever one you have is definitely great for your collection, but at the same time, there is a certain charm to that old one that will always remain for me, and I like the old one just a little bit more. That being said, I'd love to hear what you guys think, so be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video.